Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Lunar Library. This evening I thought that I would read from this collection of Percy by Shelley. This is a book that I have read cover to cover, but I thought that I would take you through and just read some poems. So this one is called When Passion's Trance is Overpast. When passion's trance is overpast, if tenderness and truth could last or live, whilst all wild feelings keep some mortal slumber, dark and deep, I should not weep, I should not weep. It were enough to feel, to see thy soft eyes gazing tenderly, and dream the rest, and burn and be the secret food of fires unseen, could thou but be what thou hast been. After the slumber of the year, the woodland violets reappear, all things revive in field or grove, and sky and sea, but two, which move and form all others, life and love. This one is also really nice, and it's called Lines. The cold earth slept below, above the cold sky shone, and all around with a chilling sound, from caves of ice and fields of snow, the breath of night like death did flow beneath the sinking moon. The wintry hedge was black, the green grass was not seen, the birds did rest on the bare thorn's breast, whose roots beside the pathway track had bound their folds o'er many a crack which the frost had made between. Thine eyes glowed in the glare of the moon's dying light, as a fen fire's beam on a sluggish stream glims dimly, so the moon shone there, and it yellowed the strings of thy raven hair that shook in the wind of night. The moon made thy lips pale, beloved, the wind made thy bosom chill, the night did shed on thy dear head its frozen dew, and thou didst lie where the bitter breath of the naked sky might visit thee at will. I remember really liking these two fragments. These are To the Moon and The Waning Moon, and they are both really gorgeous, so I'll read these ones too. Art thou pale for weariness of climbing heaven and gazing on the earth, wandering companionless among the stars that have a different birth and ever changing like a joyless eye that finds no object worth its constancy. The Waning Moon is my favorite of the two for sure. And like a dying lady, lean and pale, who totters forth, wrapped in a gauzy veil out of her chamber, led by the insane and feeble wanderings of her fading brain, the moon arose in the murky east, a white and shapeless mass. I would also love to do a series on this channel since it is called The Lunar Library. Maybe where I read many poems dedicated to night or the nighttime or different hours of twilight and such, so. This one is called Stanzas Written in Dejection, December 1818, near Naples. The sun is warm, the sky is clear, the waves are dancing fast and bright. Blue isles and snowy mountains wear the purple noon's transparent might. The breath of the moist earth is light around its unexpanded buds, like many a voice of one delight, the winds, the birds, the ocean floods. The city's voice itself is soft, like solitude. I see the deep, untrampled floor, with green and purple seaweed strewn. I see the waves upon the shore, like light dissolved in star showers thrown. I sit upon the sands alone. The lightning of the noontide ocean is flashing round me, and a tone arises from its measured motion. How sweet did any heart now share in my emotion. Alas, I have nor hope, nor health, nor peace within, nor calm around, nor that content surpassing wealth the sage in meditation found, and walked with inward glory crowned, nor fame, nor power, nor love, nor leisure. Others I see, whom these surround, smiling they live, and call life pleasure. To me that cup has been dealt in another measure. Yet now, despair itself is mild, even as the winds and waters are. I could lie down like a tired child and weep away the life of care, which I have borne and yet must bear, till death, like sleep, might steal on me, and I might feel in the warm air my cheek grow cold, and hear the sea breathe o'er my dying brain its last monotony. Some might lament that I were cold as I, when the sweet day is gone, which my lost heart, too soon grown old, insults with this untimely moan. They might lament, for I am one whom men love not, and yet regret, unlike this day which, when the sun shall on its stainless glory set, will linger, though enjoyed, like joy in memory yet. Okay, so we have just turned now to the second part in Shelley's collection here, which is labeled political and philosophical poems. I first read this collection I think in the summer of 2019, and it was a really nice experience. This is also the really, really beautiful Everyman's Library Pocket Poets edition. So in the comments as well, please feel free to leave who your favorite romantic poet is. I think mine is definitely a tie between, it's a hard one, either Keats, John Keats, or Shelley. So anyway, I am going to keep reading, this time from the second part of this collection. This one is a very famous poem by Shelley, and that is The Mask of Anarchy, written on the occasion of the massacre at Manchester. I believe, is this a bit of a longer one? It is quite a long poem. Therefore, I'm not going to read the whole thing, just the last little bit, because it's a really good one. With folded arms and steady eyes, and little fear and less surprise, look upon them as they slay till their rage has died away. Then they will return with shame to the place from which they came, and the blood thus shed will speak in hot blushes on their cheek. Every woman in the land will point at them as they stand. They will hardly dare to greet their acquaintance in the street. And the bold, true warriors who have hugged danger and wars will turn to those who would be free, ashamed of such base company. And these words shall then become like oppression's thundered doom, ringing through each heart and brain, heard again and again and again. Rise like lions after slumber, in unvanquishable number. Shake your chains to earth like dew, which in sleep had fallen on you. Ye are many, they are few. It's so good, it's just so good. I love book sounds so much. It's just very comforting as well. Okay. Now we move into the next part. Dramatic and narrative poems. Dramatic and narrative poems. It's always a difficult task to pick which poems I want to read aloud, because they're all so good. Okay. I think I'll read you the first few pages from the letter to Maria Ginsborn. The spider spreads her webs, whether she be in poet's tower, cellar, or barn, or tree. The silkworm in the green mulberry leaves, his winding sheet and cradle ever weaves. So I, the thing whom moralists call worm, sit spinning still round this decaying form, from the fine threads of rare and subtle thought, no net of words in garish colors wrought, to catch the idle buzzers of the day, but a soft cell, where, when that fades away, memory may clothe in wings my living name, and feed it with the asphodels of fame, which in those hearts that must remember me grow, making love and immortality. Whoever should behold me now, I wist, would think I were a mighty mechanist, bent with sublime Archimedean art, to breathe a soul into the iron heart of some machine portentous or strange gin, which by the force of figured spells might win its way over the sea and sport therein. For round the walls are hung dread engines, such as Vulcan never wrought for Jove to clutch Ixion or the Titans, or the quick wit of that man of God, Saint Dominic. This is another of my favorite passages from the same poem, same composition. I recall my thoughts and bid you look upon the night as water does a sponge. So the moonlight fills the void, hollow, universal air. What see you? Unpavilioned heaven is fair, whether the moon into her chamber gone leaves midnight to the golden stars, or Wan climbs with diminished beams the azure steep, or whether clouds sail over the inverse deep, piloted by the many wandering blast, and the rare stars rush through them dim and fast. All this is beautiful in every land. These few excerpts here are from Prometheus Unbound, which is my favorite work that I've read of Shelley's. Also one of my favorite plays. It is so gorgeous, and these little excerpts definitely do not do the whole thing justice. So I would really recommend you pick up Prometheus Unbound, the play, if you haven't. I think this is one of the last ones that I'm going to read to you, and it's called The Triumph of Life. This is from the end of this poem, so it's the last few stanzas. I became aware of whence those forms proceeded, which thus stained the track in which we moved. After brief space, from every form, the beauty slowly waned. From every firmest limb and fairest face, the strength and freshness fell like dust, and left the action and the shape without the grace of life. The marble brow of youth was cleft with care, and in those eyes where once hope shone, desire, like a lioness bereft of her last club, glared ere it died. Each one of that great crowd sent forth incessantly these shadows, numerous as the dead leaves blown in autumn evening from a poplar tree. Each like himself and like each other were at first, but some distorted seemed to be obscure clouds, molded by the casual air. And of the stuff the car's creative ray wrought all the busy phantoms that were there, as the sun shapes the clouds. The sleepers in the oblivious valley died, and some grew weary of the ghastly dance, and fell, as I have fallen, by the wayside. Those soonest, from whose forms most shadows passed, and least of strength and beauty did abide. Then, what is life? I cried. those are some excerpts from Percy by Shelley, one of the romantic poets. So, I hope you enjoyed, and I also hope you are fast asleep, and if not, are at least relaxed. So, thank you so much for listening to the first reading on the Lunar Library on this channel. If there's anyone you'd like to see me read from in the future, please let me know. I have a whole library behind me to choose from. So, without further ado,